around the world. Merci.
The honourable member for Calgary-Midnapore.
This government continues to claim that a decrease in international trade necessitated the use of the Emergency Act. The Public Safety Minister testified that Canada lost $390 million a day in trade, and that the government had no choice but to invoke the Act because of the damage to the economy. Yet new data from Statistics Canada is showing that international trade at both the Ontario and Alberta U.S. borders increased in February compared to the same time last year. So, does the minister not understand basic economics, or is he covering up the truth? Which is it?
The Honourable Minister of Public Safety.
Mr. Speaker, it's important for my colleague to draw a bright distinction between statistics and what were the real-life impacts at the time of the illegal blockades. Those impacts saw the disruption of trade and travel at the Ambassador Bridge, where we do fully a third of our trade with our most important partner in the United States of America, who, by the way, expressed serious concerns during the blockades, which was one of the other reasons, among many, why we had to invoke the Emergencies Act. It worked. We were able to restore public safety, and thankfully, trade and travel is going again.
The honourable member for Thornhill.
Mr. Speaker, despite the blockades at the Ambassador Bridge in Coots being cleared before the invocation of the Emergencies Act, cross-border trade was up 16%. These figures raise obvious questions about the government's use of the Act, a decision the government justified by threats to economic security. They didn't do anything in 2020 during the rail blockades when economic activity stopped. Does the government only use the Emergencies Act for groups they deem racist, misogynists, who oppose their heavy-handed COVID restrictions?
The Honourable Minister of Public Safety.
Mr. Speaker, it is utterly astonishing to hear the Conservative Party continue to bury their heads in the sand as to the serious events that occurred during January and February. I would encourage my colleague and all members of the Conservative Party of Canada who don't want to believe that there was any interruption to speak to the small businesses on Huron Church Road in Windsor. Talk to the member for Windsor West. Talk to the member for Windsor-Tecumseh, who've spoken with those businesses, Mr. Speaker. They were shut down. That was because of the illegal blockades. We're helping them. Trade and travel are going again. And thankfully, it was because we invoked the Emergencies Act.
The honourable member for Thornhill.
Let me get this straight. Despite the police clearing the blockades without needing the Emergencies Act, yesterday the public safety minister stated the reasons were economic. He said the impacts were devastating. He said the Windsor crossing lost $390 million a day, and Stats Canada says that's not true. What should Canadians think when the government tells them they can't explain why they did what they did? Because of debunked news stories, invented economic data, and clinging to cabinet secrecy. What are they hiding?
The Honourable Minister of Public Safety.
Mr. Speaker, the only thing that the Conservatives are clinging to right now is denial. And I have to say that before coming into this chamber and spouting off statistics in the abstract, I would encourage my colleague to speak with the Canadians outside of this chamber in Ottawa who could not leave their homes. I would encourage my honourable colleague to speak with the many small businesses, not only in Windsor, but in Coots, in White Rock, who were absolutely devastated by these illegal blockades. Mr. Speaker, was only after we received advice from police that we invoked. It worked, and now we're going to make sure that we cooperate with these inquiries so that...
The honourable member for Edmonton Strathcona.
Mr. Speaker, on March 28th, Russian oligarch Igor Makarov, who has been sanctioned in the United States since 2018, was able to get $121 million out of Canada. That should have gone to Ukrainians fleeing violence. That should have gone to Ukraine to help rebuild. Instead, that money was used to prop up Russia's war. The NDP has been calling for sanctions since before the war started. The Liberals have done too little, and they have done it too slowly. When are they going to get their act together?
The Honourable Minister of Foreign Affairs.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Of course, we have done a lot as a government, and of course, we have to do more. We are using sanctions to put pressure on the Russian regime and to hold them accountable. 1,400 entities and individuals have been sanctioned up to now. We are now proposing new measures to go even further, not only to seize, but also to allow for the forfeiture of the assets of sanctioned individuals and entities. These measures will allow us to compensate victims and to support the reconstruction of Ukraine, and these changes make Canada a leader in the G7.
Here, here. The honourable member for Elmwood Transcona.
How much? How much